For today's extra video guys, we will talk about where farm lane heroes weak and strong. Like what heroes are they strong and weak when facing in farm lane, yahahaha. Before we start, if you want to watch support gameplay and no miseries build, for support you can check out her YouTube channel. Please support her channel too, thanks. For our first hero, Renji, he is strong against marksmen like Arli and Lun. Since he has a Purify, he can remove Arli's passive and Lun's when CC skill. He also have a decent damage and attack speed in early game that can help him harass. In early game also, he is a bit tanky, so it is hard to win in early trade with him. He is weak against marksmen with longer range than him since he doesn't have a dash skill at will. Hard to reach enemy like Garo, Lady Sun, since these heroes can poke him from afar. Next is Arli, the most op marksman in the Honor of Kings, but she can be the weakest. If you don't know how to use her, there are only few enemies that she is weak. Let's start from where she is strong. We all know that she can beat most of the marksmen with the right use of her skill in early game, but she is strongest in heroes like Marco, Hu Yi and Huang Zhang, since she can just abuse her first-second combo in this kind of heroes, and they have a low damage output in early stages of the game, but not Hu Yi, since he can deal massive damage even in early. She is weak against heroes that can burst her easily within a sec like Lun, Lady Sun and Renji. Even Renji don't have a burst. If he catches Arli with his ultimate skill, Arli has a low chance to survive after that, since her defense will drop and it will be easy to burst her. Lun and Lady Sun have a skill that can burst down enemies easily, so Arli will have a hard time to kill. For our third marksman, Consort Yu, she has a op skill which is his second skill that gives her a 2 seconds physical damage immunity. It will be a huge help in early trading in farm lane. Also her first skill that deals massive damage even when she doesn't have a build. She can be strong against most of the physical damage marksmen if you use her second skill wisely, but in higher rank it is easy to kill Consort, since she doesn't have a dash skill. But in farm lane he can fight most of the physical damage marksmen. Just remember to take burst damage using her second skill and you are good. Sometimes I used him against Lung or Alessio, since they have a burst combo that doesn't last within 2 seconds, so I can use my second skill to take that, while dealing damage to them, since Consort Yu also have a decent damage in mid to early game. Her weakness are heroes who have a magic damage, since she can't absorb it with his second skill like Aaron and Arli. Arli can bait her to use her second skill, then go back and fight after her physical immunity is gone. Also, it is hard to use Consort Yu when there are many magic damage heroes in the enemy, so don't use her if you saw 2 or more magic damage in the enemy team. Our next hero is Lung, the second most op hero in Honor of Kings, because of his burst combo capabilities in early to late game. He is also have an ultimate that can help to engage or disengage in a fight. Lung is strong against most of the heroes. I always pick him when he is open in ranked games. He can just poke them with wind to push them away, then use fire skill to release 3 dragons and burst them. Just use it again and again until the enemy is low and ready to be executed. He is very strong against marksmen like Hu Yi, Lubin, Garo or Alessio. The hero that can rival Lung in lane is Arli. Since her second skill can remove flying projectiles, she can dissolve Lung dragons with the right timing. Also Lady Sun, he can rival Lung damage if you can hit him with your second skill. Also Lady Sun have a high chance to burst Lung with a second first combo. In late game, that is a weakness of Lung, the marksman or enemies that can burst him easily. You just need to master his combo and prepare for the right timing to use his skills. He is easy to use but have a decent damage in early to late game, so be sure to master this hero. Next is Lady Sun. She is my favorite hero when I am still a newbie in Hawk. She has a complete kit first skill dash that lowers cooldown every time she hit basic attacks, and also a second skill that can help you to easily burst down enemies like paper. She is strong against a marksman who doesn't have a mobility skill, since she is a marksman that can in and out because of her first skill. Hu Yi, Lubin, Garo, and Huang Zhang can have a hard time facing Lady Sun because of his kits, and they can't chase Lady Sun since they doesn't have a dash skill. Lady Sun is weak against marksmen who can chase her like Arli, Lung, and also Renji. Since Renji have a purify skill, he can remove the second skill of Lady Sun. Also keep in mind that you can use purify to Lady Sun if there are many enemies that have a lock-in skill like Musashi and Dharma. Next is Hu Yi. Even though he doesn't have a dash or increased movement speed, he has a decent damage in early to late game. Also his ultimate that can help to pick off enemies if you can land it to enemies from afar. Hu Yi can be strong to enemies who doesn't have a mobility skill like Lubin, Garo, Alessio, and also Marco Polo. Since he have a stun skill, he can interrupt Marco Polo ultimate. He can easily kill enemies if you can hit enemies with your ultimate and using critical build items. His basic attacks is strong and can hit multiple enemies at once, so Hu Yi is strong in teamfight. He just need to be protected since he doesn't have a skill that can help him escape. Hu Yi is weak against marksmen who have a mobility skill like Lady Sun, Arli, and also Renji. As I always say, Renji have a purify skill means Hu Yi ultimate skill will be useless to Renji. Also Lung, since Lung can one-hit most of the marksmen with third first combo in late game. Also keep in minutes that don't pick Hu Yi if there are many enemies that can easily reach you. Since you don't have mobility, you will be easy target. Our last hero is Marco Polo, who is also have a complete kit but kinda weak in early stages of the game, but you can abuse his skills to gain advantage in laning. If you are good at poking, this is the right marksman for you. He is strong against marksmen who doesn't have a dash or a stun, since they cannot escape his ultimate, which is super strong and can easily kill enemies, mostly if you partner with a stun spell or stun build. Marco Polo is strong against Lady Sun, Huang Zhang, Alessio, since they cannot interrupt Marco Polo ultimate skill. Marco Polo is weak against marksmen who have a burst damage and a stun like Arli, Lun, and also Renji. If you are using Marco Polo and there are a lot of enemies that have a stun, use purify so at least your ultimate cannot be interrupted easily. That is the best tip that I can give to you all. Also be wary of your enemies. Always remember if they use their stuns before using your ultimate, and just poke the enemies using your first skill. If you don't have info if they use their skills already, or wait for your teammate to stun or set the enemies before going in. That's all for our videos, guys. Sorry for the bad edit. I don't really have the skills in video editing. Thanks if you reach here, and don't forget to like,